What is happening, everybody? My name is Beth and welcome back to Every Day is Spooktober. Now, for today's video, as we are soon approaching Halloween, September is flying by, I was like, I need to watch a film themed around Halloween that isn't on my 31 days of Halloween watch list. If you guys don't know about what I've just said, I'm gonna link my TikTok below. On my TikTok, because it's just a bit easier to kind of get posts out, I'm going pretty ham over there with the Halloween content. So if you follow my account, there'll be a lot more Halloween type of stuff going on. And on there, I posted 31 movies that I'm going to watch every single day leading up to Halloween, October 31st. So stay tuned for all of that. But this film today specifically is not, I don't know why, but it just didn't end up on my list this year, even though it's literally like a film set around Halloween. And the title of that one is The Houses of Halloween, but some might know it as The Houses October Built. Now, before we get into this, I just want to go over something quickly. I have been so confused about this film because I've always seen the cover of The Houses October Built, and I always thought, oh my god, what does that film look so good? And then when I would go and try and find the film on DVD or whatever, another title would come up and it would be The Houses of Halloween, and I'd be like, is this the same movie? Is this like a sequel? Or what is this? And it confused me for so long until the other day I saw the DVD and it said The Houses of Halloween, so I bought the DVD and then I looked online and everything sort of matched up on it. So the original title of this film is The Houses October Built, which is such a good title. I have no idea why they changed it to The Houses of Halloween. I guess it's more relevant, The Houses of Halloween, but you know what I mean. Anyway, this film came out in 2014 and we follow a group of friends who are going around the US visiting scare mazes, haunted houses, to see if they can get a real scare out of them. Obviously this is all found footage, and which makes it that more creepier, which obviously we love found footage on this channel. And yeah, they just kind of, each house just gets worse and worse, and it ends up being quite deadly at the end, I guess you could say. But it's quite funny actually, because when I was watching this the other day, I was like, I've seen this before, and genuinely, I've seen this movie before, and I just don't remember it. I don't remember the title, I don't remember much about it, but there was things that I was seeing in the movie that I was like, wait a minute, I've seen that. So things were clicking, and yeah, I have seen this movie before, but I didn't know it until I was about halfway in. And like I said, I don't remember it that well, so let's just get into it. That is my lovely big backstory before getting into it. So something I found out after watching it was, I don't know the directors, everybody that was kind of a part of this film, they're not very known, let's just say that. So the writers of this film, The House October Built and House October Built 2, they're actually a couple of the guys that are in the film. So very interesting dynamic. I think don't get me wrong, this film's definitely very real. I think the beginning when we're kind of introducing the characters and they're all on the road and they're in the RV and they're driving around and they're having a good time and they're having some beers, it all comes across very real, and obviously that's what we like. We have there's certain characters within the group. You've got the funny one, you've got the one that's always very drunk or inappropriate or is trying to get the women. You get the very serious one, and then we just have a singular woman in it, which I don't know why, but we just have one girl and the rest are all men. But it's an interesting dynamic, and obviously they're driving around and they're going to these haunted houses and everyone's dressed up, and it's definitely because it's so real, it comes across so real, it gives you that Halloween spirit atmosphere that you would get if you went to a corn maze or if you went to a haunted house. So in terms of sort of vibe and atmosphere, it definitely is a good watch for Halloween, I agree. Obviously the premise of this is they're trying to find the most craziest haunted houses, and they're around the Texas area. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I'm sure there's people out there that probably have done the same thing. Apparently this is based on a true story. I don't know how loose or whatever it is, but apparently it's based on a true story. I'm sure the true story part is that people went driving around Texas looking for the scariest haunted house, and that was about it. I don't think anything else that happened in the film comes across necessarily genuine and realistic. As they're sort of traveling to each house, like, things start getting a bit weirder. They start to kind of piss off some of the, like, scare actors and everything like that. And then that was when I was piecing it together, and I was like, wait, I've seen this before. I was like, all these people get pissed off with them. And then at the end, obviously, it doesn't end well for all of them. But I don't know, I have to say, I think the ending is quite dumb. The way this film ended really brought my score down. Like, I think it had potential, and it was definitely, it was like when they go into that really sketchy bar and they're asking for that guy called Giggles, and then they're all dressed up in like clown costumes, and like everyone's really weird, and then the female character, she goes to the bathroom, and then all the guys go in. Like, it gets kind of intense and a bit like off-putting and very real. But I think after that, it kind of gets to a point where I'm like, this is just silly now. I think with this type of movie, since it's found footage and you're walking through multiple scare mazes and your camera's like this and the lighting's like this, there's too much going on, and we can't actually see anything. And don't get me wrong, I guess that's like the realism of being in there for sure, but it's like a bit jarring. They keep going to maze after maze after maze, or house after house, and like, you can't see half of what's going on. So if these people are trying to like make this documentary and be like, look, this is a good house, how are we meant to know that and believe you if all we see is a shaky cam the entire time? I think this film could have resulted better in maybe incorporating some like just general still footage, or maybe like in the haunted houses they had still cameras in there to get more of a feel of the atmosphere and what they were seeing. I think when they go in there and it's so chaotic, it's a bit like, it pulls you out of it a bit, because you're like, I don't know what they're on about, like I don't see what they see. So it takes away that terrifying aspect, which I think definitely they could have done more of. I know there is a second one, I haven't obviously seen that one. I don't know if I want to waste my time with it, but if I looked at the trailer, and the trailer looked very similar to this first one, so I don't know if they made many improvements in terms of the kind of camera quality with this. I know a good found footage film will have shaky cam, and I'm not saying that shouldn't be in there, but I think when we're specifically going through these haunted houses and they're trying to make a point where like nothing kind of hits that terrifying mark, how are we meant to believe you if we don't see it? You're just kind of running into a haunted house, screaming, flashing lights, coming out, being like, yeah, that was kind of trash. Like, I don't know, like, I think it would have benefited with us seeing more as the viewer. And then obviously the big kind of twist of this is the ending is, you know, they ask these guys at one of the houses, like, where's the most messed up haunted house? And then they end up driving to it, and it turns out it does get quite messed up, and these people like are kind of low-key torturing the friend group, and things get very real. During this point, once again, could have done with some still cam shots, could have done with some CCTV or something. Obviously, like, the friend group are like split off, and they got bags on their heads, and they go into weird locations, and then the final sequence is they get buried in coffins, like, legit. And then it kind of ends and cuts off to like a brief interview clip, and then the movie ends. And I know the whole kind of theme around this movie, because they mention it at the beginning, is like the scary thing about these sort of haunted houses and stuff like that is not necessarily like the scares, it's like the actual people committing crimes. So it's kind of insinuating the fact that these people, the friend group that have been captured and buried alive, like, this is legit, this is real. And then I know in the second movie, at the beginning of that trailer, we see the police show up and get them out of the ground, and then they like continue their travels, which I think is just kind of dumb. I thought that the ending was quite weak. I think it could have benefited on like coming to some kind of like resolution, or like the group at least being together. I think when they all end up getting split off or on their own and everything, yeah, they're trying to create this like creepy atmosphere that's like, oh my god, like I'm on my own, I don't know where my friends are. Like, I understand what they were trying to do, but there was no real conclusion or message or anything at the end of this movie. It was kind of like, there you go, like, that's it. So yeah, I think I think the story could have been a bit thicker and had a bit more to it, because it kind of, like I said, it lost me quite a few times. And I had high hopes for this being like the first proper Halloween themed movie of the year that I'm watching for Spooktober, but yeah, I guess the film was okay. I rated it a 4 out of 10, which I know isn't great, but yeah, it could have been better. I am intrigued for the second one to see what it's about. Maybe down the line I'll visit it. Maybe I'll visit it next Halloween, I don't know. It's just not on the top of my list right now, because I can go watch better movies, if you know what I mean. As that is kind of my thoughts and review of the Houses of Halloween. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the titles. Like, what's going on there? Does anyone have any information about why the titles are different? I don't know if it's a UK and US thing. Like, is it known as The Houses of October built in the US and then The Houses of Halloween in the UK? I don't know. It's kind of hard to find that information because I have tried to look it up, but I haven't found anything. So yeah, let me know if you guys know anything about that. What did you guys think of this movie? Do you think it's a good Halloween watch? What would you rate it? Let me know everything down in the comments. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok and follow me for my Spookyween journey. And now we're not changing the title, Spooktober journey. Like I said, Halloween content has already started, so check it out over there if you're wanting to see some stuff like that. But anyway, thank you guys again. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on my next review.